Hello, my name is Jimmy Vegas and welcome to this, the fifth in a series of video tutorials on how to create a platform game in Unity 3D. Okay, so in this episode what we'll be looking at is when we fall off our level just here, we need to warp ourselves back onto it. And if you remember, in the last episode we created this cube just down here. This cube is vital for us at the moment. That will be our kind of net that captures us, like we named it Death Capture. Okay, so to do this, all we need to do is we need to write a little script. So first off, down here, Materials, right click, Create, JavaScript. And we'll call this one Level 001 Death. So if we double click, and if you remember, it'll open up in MonoDevelop. Now the script that we'll be using is relatively simple. It's not too complicated. It's kind of like a teleport or a warp script, and it is a script that I have used on another one of my series anyway, so I am confident it will work. Okay, so everything here, delete, and you need to type in var target transform semicolon. Remember, semicolon always has to occur at the end of lines like this. Let's go down and let's do function. Remember, lowercase f, update, capital U on the update, brackets, then open curly bracket, and then close curly bracket on the next line. Your next one is function, and you need on trigger enter. You need to do the collider, and that is a capital C on collider, and then open curly bracket. Next line down, you need to do an if statement. Basically all this is it says if this is true, then this is what occurs. So call dot game object, capital O on the object, dot tag equal to level 001 death, close, open curly brackets again, and we'll do this dot predictive transform. So we're going to change that back to this. This dot transform dot position equals target dot position. Then your semicolon, close curly bracket, and then close curly bracket. So all we're saying is if the tag is equal to level 1 death, it takes us to a position that we can set, as we've done it just here in the variables. So let's save that script. Let's go back to Unity, and you'll see our script has appeared just here, which is great for us. So this big cube that we created over here, you need to tick is trigger, like so. All that does is activates this and says that this is a trigger, because if you remember in our script we had on trigger enter. So our next thing to do is we need to apply this script to our player just here. So head over there and drag onto our player. Click on the player and you'll notice down here the script is now active on the player. However, the target is none. So let's go to Death Capture. Let's click this just here. Here on Untagged, click on Add Tag. Change the size, let's just change it to be safe to 5. Element 001, we'll call this, as we called it in our script, level 001 death. So here, level 001 death. Enter. Our next thing to do is where our player is stood, we need to go to Game Object, Create Empty. And I'm going to drag that onto Death Capture just here, but I'll also rename this at the same time to 001, which means it's for level 001. Let's rename Game Object to Respawn Point 001. Now, if we go to back to our player, back to our script down here, we then need to set our target here as our respawn point. Just there. So now when we press play, with any luck, if we fall off, it doesn't work. Okay, so we need to figure out why it doesn't work. Let's go to our Death Capture. Let's ensure that everything is okay there. It is below us. Let's check our player. Okay, everything looks fine there. Everything looks fine. So we can try and test and see what happens. So what we'll do is we can bring up our death cube, as it were, and I'm going to quickly scale it back to 1, 1, and 1. Forgive me, I have just figured out our problem. So if we undo, put it back to where it was, it would help if down here on tag we actually selected the death. So now, fingers crossed, the tag is set. So if we fall onto our death and back to the start. Just there. So let's try that again. There we go. So every time we fall off our level now, we'll end up straight back on. So at the moment, our big death capture cube is a bit off-putting, because it's a big grey box in the middle of nowhere. So to get around that, all we have to do is, if I can remember, if I'm honest, let me see, where was it? We'll change mesh render just here. So if you untick that, that removes literally everything. You'll have to forgive me sometimes. I do work with Unity 5 as well, and obviously things are in different places, and at times you can forget where things are. So, as you can see, if you look below, our big death capture cube is invisible. But it still works. So it's there, it just doesn't render in the game. So if we run along here, and we've fallen off, but we're back to the start. Okay, so that same script can be applied for when we warp ourselves up here to our next level. But for now, because there isn't much of this level, we kind of need to build a little bit more. So, to help ourselves out a little bit, I'm going to take this level 001 lighting, duplicate, and I'm going to bring it up to about there, right click, rename, and call it level 002 lighting. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to import some more assets. We'll do these just here. So these are available on our website for free. If you hit the description, you'll be able to find the link there. Drag and drop these straight into Unity just here. I think probably best if we move them straight into our assets folder where we kept everything else. Try and keep everything in order. Okay, so as always we've had the first, second, third colour. So what we need to do now is basically just apply floor 4 or floor 5 straight to one of our blocks. Give the whole area a little more colour. Like so. Make it a little multicoloured. Or should we, I'll tell you what, we'll keep it all purple just for now. And this can be our starting point of our next level. So while we're here, we'll quickly build up this next level. Not to waste too much time. So because all we'll do now is build this up to give us some preparation for the next tutorial. It's always good to try and plan ahead. So let's duplicate and move, duplicate and move. Could do with moving our light up a touch. Have we moved that slightly too far? This needs to come down to about there. Apologies, I'm getting myself a bit muddled here. We need the lighting for level 1. Let's drag that down to about there. And that might do, to be honest. It's not fantastic, but the principle works. Okay, so let's build a little more just here. So I'm going to put some orange just at the end here on these ones. I'm not going to spend too much longer on this bit of the tutorial. There isn't really much point. You build this section however you would like to. I'm just building this up basically to kind of have somewhere to go once we are all built. Let's see, let's take this entire section just here, duplicate, and I'm going to raise this one above 1 to about there, I think, just so as it gives us a bit of a task and a jump. Let's see, let's take maybe these just here, duplicate, move outwards. Let's put these as red, I think. Just there as red. Now you'll notice I haven't built the outside of this level just yet. It's up to you if you want to build them. The only reason I'm not building it at the moment is it is very, very fiddly. And rather than waste time, it's, you know, it is entirely up to you how you build each part of your level. Okay, so I'm going to put this finish line there. So my intent will be, it's a bit more active, this section. So let's kind of move it straight a little more. There we go, let's take them. Move them this way. So our starting point for our next area, I think I will place around there. So we just have to remember, this is our starting point next time. Okay, we'll leave this tutorial there for now. It has only been a short one, this. I mean, realistically, we'll be looking to finish up this entire series within the next few episodes, as there isn't much more to do. Next episode, we'll be looking at putting some music in. So whenever you play, there's always some music playing. We'll look at putting a script in to get from our finish line on this level up onto our second level. And we'll also be putting in another death cube, so as when you fall off the second area, you only fall, you don't fall back onto our first area, you respawn back onto the second area. And then ultimately, we'll be putting in some scores, hopefully some GUI to display your score, maybe a time if we can get that working. And then finally, the last thing we'll end up doing is to build up our game. I haven't actually covered it on any of the tutorials I've done so far, but it will be the very last thing that we do. Probably going to be another 2 tutorials, maybe 3 tutorials, depending on how it goes. Like I say, it's mostly a beginner thing, all of this, so it's nothing to worry about too much. You can advance your skills further once you've learned them. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Let's save our project, and I do hope to see you in the next tutorial. Thank you very much for watching.